Good evening. The empire I was born in went on trial in the High Court this week. Not the empire that at its height controlled 3/4 of the planet and ruled over 1/4 of its people, but the empire that had lost its power and its purpose in 2 world wars, was struggling against the burgeoning nationalism of its subjects and would soon give it all up in a headlong rush to decolonise. 3 frail and elderly Kenyans are claiming they were tortured, one says he was castrated, in one of the last imperial campaigns against the murderous Mau Mau rebellion in the 1950s. In court this week, the government finally accepted they had been ill-treated while in British custody. It was a dirty war on both sides. The British hanged more than 1,000 terrorists and detained tens of thousands of suspects who seem, according to reports half suppressed at the time, and truckloads of official documents only uncovered recently, to have been systematically and brutally ill-treated. The Foreign Office has done all it can to prevent the trial taking place, and even now is arguing it's too long ago for the evidence to be reliable. It's a focused legal argument over stories of torture, mutilation and death, but the issues and the implications are wider than that. Is it right to make moral judgments about the past through the prism of our modern sensibilities? Should we be held responsible for the sins of empire? And if so, where should it stop? That's our Moral Maze tonight. The panel: Melanie Phillips, social commentator on the Daily Mail, Anne McElvoy, public policy editor of The Economist, the Catholic writer Clifford Longley, and Matthew Taylor, formerly Tony Blair's chief political advisor, now chief executive of the RSA. Melanie, these poor people may get damages, but is historical justice being served here?
Well, I think it's very important to bring to justice the actual perpetrators of atrocities or war crimes, but I think it's a very different matter if courts are being used, as I think they are in this case, as a kind of propaganda exercise against colonialism.
Matthew Taylor.
I think there's a danger of using history as a political football, or crudely ascribing today's problems to long past events, but I also believe that those who suffered oppression have the right to a hearing and a relevant compensation, and also that if we fail to learn from the mistakes of the past, we're more likely to repeat them.
Anne McElvoy?
Well, there might well be a right to compensation in this case where the evidence is pretty clear, but I think in general the attempt to deal with the colonial period through the judicial system isn't the right way to go. It tends to be about political responses and aversions in the present rather than clarity about the past.
I don't see any problem with doing the right thing, even though it's extremely late in the day, but nevertheless an injustice was committed and it can be corrected, and there therefore should be. The broader question of whether this should become a kind of symbolic moment, I don't think really ought to apply, because that might even get in the way of justice being done, and that's important in the case.
Well, thanks very much indeed. Our first witness is Esther Stanford-Hosai, who's a community advocate and reparationist. I'm almost tempted to ask you what a reparationist is, but I'm going to ask you the broader question. You've been in court, actually, haven't you, while watching this hearing? What's going on here? Is this a case for damages or a moral inquest on it?
Give this to them, because
it's
you're going to need the first witness. You want to do the first witness.
As a result of torture that the 3 claimants who are surviving experienced. The solicitors for the claimants, in terms of their public strategy, their public relations strategy, have made it very clear this is not a colonial reparations case. It is a very specific case. It has a very specific context. There are very specific victims. Of course, it does have a wider kind of interest to all of us here today.
And from your point of view, even if this hearing itself will be damages claimed by these 3 individuals, should it be the occasion for examining the colonial legacy?
Most definitely. In fact, some of us would argue the case
these are
doesn't go far
reason for
because the colonial context is absent, and without recognising colonialism, it's very hard to understand what actually took place.
So, as I understand it, you said 2 things. You said it's quite specific. She's agreed with one specific legal trial with evidence that can be weighed at damages, which then may be more. But then you also said that it's more broadly about colonialism.
Most definitely.
And surely that requires a very different approach. So what would justice look like to you?
Most definitely.
Justice to me.
Yes, she agrees with should be held accountable.
Of course, there is value in
the current government should be held accountable for things in the past.
Who have never experienced any form of recompense.
She agrees with this.
They do need to be compensated for the crimes that were committed against them. However, that they represent
the one that Forrest is just touching there. Can you pass me that?
Many other survivors
this is
access to justice.
So it took place, it took place in the colonial era.
Should you say the same thing again?
We also know that there were atrocities.
So we need to connect this up to either
people that you've just referred to. So would you be also happy for them to face trial for atrocities committed against white settlers and against British service personnel at the time?
Okay. How I would answer that
I think
is I would look at
more or less,
war of liberation. And
it's a
actually,
restatement, but
it's...
it's...
that was being levelled against the Africans. They were dispossessed of their land.
Do we need those in? Otherwise we can box it up.
In terms of the carving of Africa. So
maybe you can finish this and box it up.
Stick these two.
Because there's new stuff coming in.
You want to pull these ones to me?
No, I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is we cannot take away the fact that these were people who were simply fighting to reclaim their lost lands, and it was a freedom struggle. And there is
in terms of moral responsibility,
this one as well. Oh no.
Allowed to them because it was a struggle of liberation.
127 is here.
It was a struggle of liberation, and I would refute the notion that these were terrorists. You know, I think that was a label that was given to them, and it was a label that was very loaded. And of course, when you classify people as terrorists, then what you're doing is you're seeking to dehumanise them.
What's the question?
Then be on the side of the colonial.
We have to go to the roots of this problem.
119, 123.
It's not really about these three people.
How would I answer it? I think it's the answer.
It's a symbolic case to open the wide.
For some people it is. And of course, I mean, for me, it actually is very significant because it means that we are forced to engage in this conversation. We are forced to do the analysis.
Get rid of that.
Well, actually, the analysis I would come to next is blanket entitlement to judicial approach to things that happened in the past is usually reserved for criminal regimes like the Third Reich. Is it not the case that you are stretching the definition to make the British Empire fit into?
Well, actually, speak to those who are survivors. They did see this as being like under the Third Reich. Yes, I certainly do.
You say that there are, in this case,
These ones are,
specific victims. Isn't the problem, though, that there are
for
not
me,
very
it's very
specific
significant.
perpetrators? Why should the present government of Britain be held responsible for
unjust war because they were dispossessed of the land?
Its predecessor administration many decades ago.
I disagree that there's not.
Oh yeah,
think we
maybe.
Cannot for legal reasons
Sorry.
identify individuals. Why the current government of today should be held liable is because there is an outstanding crime.
This was a war of liberation.
These are not only
No, it's a TA, right? Unjust or liberation. That doesn't sound unjust.
There were crimes against humanity. My understanding of international law is that there is no statute of limitation. I think it would be totally different.
So I'm trying to work out this in answer to this question.
But actually, you have living victims.
You have some time to finish.
They were treated in an appalling way, but you've just muddled up civil and criminal cases. There's no statute of limitations for murder.
Statute of limitations
this is
coming
my
in
point. If there are
in a
specific
moment.
perpetrators, if you have a tyrant, if you have a group of military officers who are accused of committing a war crime, then for sure there should be no statute of limitations in prosecuting them. You have a specific perpetrator. But here you don't have specific perpetrators.
It was a bit of a mess last
What's happening in this case is not the prosecution of a crime, it is a claim for compensation against the present government, which had no responsibility for what happened. Isn't that a source of injustice?
Definitely not. They do bear responsibility because those liabilities actually transfer back to the British government. Certainly that would not be the British government's view, but that would be the view of the claimants and their representatives, and also the current
I would look at the context or something like
that. You say you want to set the record straight, and the context is very important. Can I just come back to this point that Alan was asking about, because it does strike me.
Well, so yes, I mean this is her answer. So basically, we need an nth meme, I think, which is.
I don't think it's by agents of the British government at the time. The context was the atrocities being carried out against them by Malcolm.
We got.
Why are you being so selective about your context? It's only for you colonialism that's on trial here. Not
I don't think it's going anywhere.
On the insurgents at the time.
No, actually that's not what I stated. We're looking at this case in a multiple ways. It's a specific case, but I was also giving wider views about the importance of this case. And we have to look at it in that way. So the wider context, I actually go back to what I said in the beginning. It is the colonial dispossession. And so yes, there was insurgents, as you call them, the legal state freedom fighters. And they did what they had to do in order to maintain the liberation struggle. And that is not something that is foreign to British history.
I just want to drag this all over.
That's the
one you want.
Our next witness is Lawrence James, who's a historian of the Salad Wars, British campaigns in Africa.
I just put it in.
1870 to 1920, an imperial rearguard.
134,
empires.
29.
What do you think is going on here?
Okay. Never mind, let's do this.
If there is an
So
element,
22.
if you like, of retrospective moral judgment.
They're doing the 20s, early 20s.
I always have a problem
You think what as well?
judging the past by our values.
221.
It seems
Did see this as being
sure
like under the third
You
right
think that
effect.
as well?
We're 28.
It seems
That's
like
for that one.
we actually have
I don't see really what the problem is here. There are three people.
Statute of limitations, that's the one we need in mind.
They suffered in the context of imprisonment, possibly. Where they suffered was a crime.
That was 228 was our yes, I do.
They have the opportunity now
Which are actually
to try to
living
seek
victims.
justice. The closest they can get to
there's
the
no
people who
statute
actually
of limitations.
committed this is the British state, and they're pursuing their case. What's wrong with it?
Well, there are two things here. First of all, there
Why is it not
three
something in
people
between here?
seeking legal damages for injuries suffered 60 years ago.
That's right.
And
That's right.
they may make a
That's
good case
to
for
me.
this. And certainly
There's no statute of limitation on murder.
this sort of thing certainly happened in Kenya.
But you
It's
have
been
to
known about for 30 years. Churchill was told about it, reduced to years. So they
But you actually have living victims. This is a reason for that there should be no statute of limitations. Wait.
There's
A reason against this. The living victims is a reason against this, yeah.
Is it?
And then Melanie Phillips says, well, but you're modelling up civil and criminal. These two together are a reason against this. So the linked argument against
Well, in
this.
terms of the case,
And there are living victims and no identity away. But this is the full argument, three of these.
And it is reasonable for the British state, even though
to
the
five
state's
is before this,
politicians, the British
look at
state
these
is
and box it up.
for the actions of the
Because
British
we need
state
to get
in the past. In this specific case, we'll turn in a moment to the wider question of empire, but in this specific
this and this
Well,
and not
the
this
judiciary
one.
have ruled they have the right to make this case, and they are proceeding with it. There is another legal principle
Can you
touched
keep
on
up
of
here?
how much do we have
Why wait, Chris? Because I'm sorry, I'm
for
left.
the actions of the past. I mean,
Okay, where do we start? 9-9?
Answer
8-9?
decisions of Lord St. Lord Palmerston.
Get rid of the scheme thing.
Given what they went through, that as the closest they can get to the people who perpetrated this is the British state.
Get rid of
The
it.
British state benefited from colonialism in a whole variety of ways. We
What are
probably
you
wouldn't be
looking
rich in the way we are in Britain today if it wasn't for colonialism. But it's
Argument, for
reasonable that
example.
they should seek recompense from the British state. Otherwise, they have nowhere to go.
So why is it something it's going into
People
dispossession?
who did this to you,
2-8.
your injustice is somehow over.
So this is the first.
Colonialism is on trial.
Leaving aside
How's that
their
going?
legal case, which is illegal. Let's turn to colonialism.
Do you
Which one is it linked to?
the perfect right to pursue the claim they are making?
You can do that in the end,
Useful for
maybe.
the British state, so
Otherwise,
to that, I guess.
British countries in the west.
Okay, colonial. This is before this 3 or 4. So can we get rid of this?
The judiciary, they
Yeah.
have rules
Extracting various forms of
the right
those
to
countries to
make
best
rid of
case a host country.
So what relationship does that have to
Very
No,
often,
no.
colonies will desperately poor themselves. I mean, let's get rid of the rich and the poor.
Right.
Let us say a number of European states have
We're looking at this case from Mel in
the United States obtained the government by going
what do you,
large areas in the
so what do you want to do?
they have
I'm good with this.
Yeah, sure.
So they have a variety of colonial
No, no.
governments
I suppose they can get to
Right.
perpetrate.
So where do we start? 7-1? Social assault reduced to 2? No, give us 7-4 and 7-7 because that's needed here. So you take it from where? From my from MT.
Oh wait, that's
there's some stuff here as well. So.
So take it from 18. So you try and take it from 18. But that's one yours as well. 21.
Okay.
24, 18, 24, 14.
You're a historian in this period, you know very well.
Okay, so what's the question?
I was about to say,
I have to ask for a decision. Whoops, no, wait. What's the number? 399.
And that's a crime there.
What went through...
And the details of these outrages.
As close to the... isn't it the stable?
Colonial office.
Yes, so he says, isn't it reasonable that they should seek compensation from the current British state? Because it's an answer to this. Let's get rid of this. We know what the answer is. And this one is the current government should be held accountable for... well, no, this is just a bit of... so this, you can get rid of this one, yeah, and this one is the reason for the current government should be held accountable. And then 3 is 6...
the local commander
how much do we have responsibility? This is a question, but we can get rid of this because this covers it. We can get this one.
Right, and therefore that debt has never been settled.
And then 4 is 6.
I mean, punishment has not been inflicted.
This one was next.
Alright, otherwise they have nowhere to go. Well, that's a reason, right? They have nowhere to go otherwise.
And then there's a second question.
Otherwise, it's simply saying, well, oops, sorry. Simply saying, well, the people just have gone somehow to injustice. Get rid of these before 400. Before 400, sorry. So these few are because we've already done it. What's it?
Sorry.
So, Mark, are you doing anything with whether the current government should be held accountable?
To get the order right.
Okay, because this one is also connect. That's after 409. That's another reason for the MTLA. Yeah, that's it. No, that's a totally different one. That's
no, that one's gone. We were
this one is the one you want to start with, Mark. Sorry. Box that up and get rid of it.
In a near state of about what will happen there. Insurgency in Malaya.
How are you doing here?
Well, I don't want to be morally blameworthy in a funk. When you're reading intelligence reports that suggest your empire is under some kind of sustained assault. We know it was.
Which one?
Okay, so this being a major injustice was committed.
So,
a legal remedy now exists. British owning up and paying.
Point we're discussing is this. It's more this one, right? It's the present government should be held accountable.
Going through the evidence and finding complete.
Well, could be alright, but more or less alright.
Suffered injuries in such a place, in such a way.
Someone give me that back.
CL.
The officers who commanded them.
Oops, watch it.
Then the judges or lawyers can say, how far are these agents of the British state? Did the British state know what they were doing?
So are you doing anything with this? Or is that totally new?
It's part of this, I think. But it's progression.
Where's the he's doing the bit in between. I'm just giving this to Dan.
Yeah, that's right. If you can organise, that's right.
Kenya, yeah, Kenya.
No, not here. Okay. Can you see if there's a connection between what I'm doing and what's happening there?
So you're a historian of this period.
So this is a it's a crime.
What's a crime?
What are the outrages?
The
Mau rebellion.
Yeah. Well, what was done?
Major injustice committed.
Saying that these crimes committed.
That's we should be held accountable.
What's the highest number you have? 6-1, right?
Yes.
Then we 6-9. You just connect here and then it goes on to
He was in a state of panic, second-rate governor. What's going on here? They should have been court-martialed.
This is new, certainly, yes. Oh, wait.
This is a crime is not a debt. Ah, right, now this is interesting. So this is against the this thing here, right? So crime is not a debt, it's in conflict with that, and the other way around.
Once you've got this, I think you should start boxing stuff.
Yeah. Crimes were committed.
For example, in contrast,
this one, I think, is the answer to it. Oops, wait. So, sorry to stop you. It's not just judging the present by the past. Well, I'm saying that these crimes were committed.
So this is in some sort of conflict, if we're looking at it monologically.
Sorry to stop you. What did you stop? 3. It was outrage and certain. But
this is this. This is the same thing.
Okay.
So if I stick that on there and stick with that one.
Okay. And get rid of it.
I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know how to deal with this one.
Okay, I'm going to give them a hand over there. You just box this up in a minute.
Yeah.
Can you believe that morally blameworthy one?
That we have here in the United Kingdom. It's not a case.
Where's your yes to this? Do you know? Oh, it's on there. Okay. There should have been court-martials, and this is LA as well.
So what are they talking about non-inclusiveness?
So LA agrees with this.
Okay. To go to the root of the modern malaise of a non-inclusive notion of British citizenship. You say that Britain is non-inclusive. No, this is different. Where's the bit in between? That's that 44. That's the bit in between. 44 is between 544 and 536.
But there should be a statute of limitations, right? That it doesn't just build up and last for.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, there's just one, I think.
I guess.
Oh, it's just the one that I boxed up.
But there should have been court-martials at the time. Right, okay, that makes sense. So that's the same as this.
They can't be against, they can't be prejudiced against white people, they can't be prejudiced against...
There should have been court-martials, but that doesn't even say that...
So you're missing something between
there should have been, but it didn't happen, which is a shame.
So was this 580?
Or
60?
Yeah, I think there is an interesting
point. Can you finish this? Sorry.
No problem. Someone should be court. Yeah, that's right.
60.
Okay, that's good.
I've got
so if we
7 and 6.
So in what sense do you know it's Britain?
Yeah.
Lack of inclusive. Whoops.
That one stays out.
Yep. Britain is non-inclusive?
No.
Someone got it?
No.
Yeah, it's up here.
Okay, because this is... Wait a minute, because this connects to it as well. Because of the lack of inclusiveness.
Say, for example, Jews control banks. That's not prejudice.
That's mine.
It's racially offensive, but it's not racism.
It's not racism.
No, because you can be convicted of being racially offensive without necessarily being a racist. I think Margaret Thatcher's daughter once made some inappropriate comments. I've heard lots of judgment of people being found guilty of...
Okay, and this is this is goes to the root of the modern malaise of non-inclusive notion of British citizenship. Sorry, you need that one, Mark. Sorry.
This case, because that's the cause for that case. Help in any way.
You got a cause.
Mark,
have you got a cause? Can you mark it as an argument for cause?
No, because.
Oh, sorry.
The whole question of Britain's unresolved acknowledgement and apology and reparation for the horrific.
Mark, give this to them, and you do this. Right?
Is a difficult, a barrier.
So, prejudice power is a
So what are you doing? 90 something?
591, 590,
583, or...
Well, take the new landlord exchange. There is no one colonialism. Very different bits of the colonial history, and some of it was good, and some of it was absolutely reprehensible.
So
we want it all to be
this.
We want to marshal it to a politics agreement.
Well, if the trains ran on time,
the
Jewish community was still shipped on time to actually,
is this all connected?
as a consequence of a fascist regime.
Something with non-inclusive.
I need that one back.
We have non-inclusive.
It was
in order to
something by
trade.
This is very important.
I think it was
it's not racism, even though it's racially offensive. So, he doesn't agree at all. In fact. So this is irony. Which is the best way we can mark irony is with
racism.
Hey, Mark, I've got the same here. This is, and I've got JA saying this example isn't racism.
So what are they talking about? I think we need an enthymeme, a main enthymeme now, because it's different.
No, it's this. I think it's this guy's position is
what
peculiar.
What does it have to do with racism? I'm quite sure we need something enthymeme about racism, because they started talking about racism and inclusiveness in the history of the empire.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to figure out what it is.
You can be convicted of being racially offensive.
Bring them to account.
Without
I don't know where to link it
to acknowledge the crime.
The history of colonialism is responsible for racism.
Give me 2 seconds, sorry, I'm trying to work out where this one goes.
Down there, but I don't know how to link these two.
So the history of colonialism is responsible for racism. Is that something you can connect to with a non-inclusive?
Sorry, Floris.
The history of colonialism is responsible for racism.
Responsible for? Racism is racist, maybe.
No. The history of colonialism, maybe the history of slavery is responsible for racism.
Yeah, okay, that's good, that's good.
Were made landless, homeless, and reduced to absolute poverty.
We need to try and connect
Wait, that statement's...
You've got it?
An acknowledgement and reparation.
Yeah, that's what Chris needs. It's not an enthymeme, it's in the bloody...
Yeah.
Okay, super, thank you.
And we need to get rid of the inclusive stuff. Keep it down here, because they're talking about it again, and we can use it maybe later on.
Do you think this particular court case might provide this medieval?
I don't think it will. I think it will be an important opportunity for those individuals to make their case.
Back to the present, because we have...
I want to take this to Chris and connect it to the history of...
Dr. Nick Lloyd, who's senior lecturer.
Super duper, thank you very much. That's just what I want.
The Joint Services Command Staff College. Where does moral justice lie?
Chris.
Super, thank you very much.
Sorry. This is the American. This is a reason for that. The British history of colonialism is responsible for
Okay,
racism.
super. Well done. Stick that in here then.
Get it in the middle so that we can box it all up.
No, I don't think we do. I mean, it depends on the specific incident you're talking about.
This is
This is the reason for the history of the
this one here.
Yeah.
Previous.
Okay.
And I think we can always box this up.
What about this one here?
Okay, so
there's a new guy coming in. So
okay.
That refutes.
This is the new guy or not? 22, 19, 22, 26.
It's racially offensive.
Maybe
one, but it's not racist.
quickly.
Just go and bot this up.
Society at the end of the 1950s, when news first came to the Arg-tech massacre of Myanmar prisoners in Kenya, and widespread the British public opinion and the media, and
How do you deal with
most
that?
of
Black countries, black people,
absolutely
different
horrified,
races.
discussed it then,
That's
not
not
now, then.
Oops, sorry. Whose is that?
No, but Mark, you don't want to throw everything. You don't want to throw everything this way because it's coming your way anyway.
Yeah, but we're starting to stack up the
All right.
That's just...
What is?
Well, I think
that was
right. Okay.
Whoops.
But we need the 19, right? Because
Let's get through this, because I'm trying to work out how to connect these two things in, but I think maybe just get rid of this as well, I guess.
Well, I think, by the 50s, the empire is going. Everyone knows it's going. And they effectively try
Oopsie
to
daisy.
hand over to some
Get rid of the
kind
bloody...
of stable rules.
Are you saying that Polar, on the whole circumstances and the whole shock, etc., did not change the public consciousness?
I know we're not connected in, but
oh hell! Realised it was morally unsustainable.
I just want to drag that stuff down here as well. I think they're due reparation because thousands.
what is the connection in?
But I'm not quite sure what else.
It's not racism. How does that connect to anything? Where was the? Is this?
Which is profoundly shocking.
So 38, you've got 38.
No, that's the thing we want to
46
keep
somewhere
out.
after 38.
I think.
38, 41, 46.
These are all like
Let's just get rid of this. We're running out of time before the next lot comes in.
Oh, no, I think there's absolutely horror man now, and I think it's about let's. That's a Michael Barton thing. That's just the question he's asking.
Oh, wait.
Just collapse it if you can.
No, don't collapse that.
Yeah,
that's it.
Then just took some of that stuff with it.
I didn't. No, I didn't.
No, it didn't. It was already a box. Yeah.
Mark, give this to them. Give this to them. 716 as well, because everything before kind of 60 goes 760 goes this way, because you don't have anything to do now. Anything before 760 goes that way.
This is an important Michael Butler.
But when it does, you often have inquiries and investigations. So these two are the same, but that's
you focus on that.
There was something that I was doing over there.
You guys focus on this.
Wait, that's supporting that.
The way in which the British government on behalf of the state behaved towards
No, I don't think so. We've known about these things for many years. There's nothing new in Kenya. And the problems we had in India and all
is he doing anything interesting?
Empire is always a thing. I think
13 is his first one.
No.
13.
There's no
Legacy of colonialism for white people is white privilege in one of these settings. The legacy of colonialism back people. Poverty was created to make happy. This is one together. Happy. I think they're due reparation.
That was an answer to that.
Yeah, but this is not really an argumentative answer.
I don't think so.
So I think there's due reparation. Thousands were made landless, and everyone thinks it's a history lesson. It's true. Yeah, this is also.
No,
but at the beginning,
do you think you might need a court? I don't see there's nothing about border movements.
As being equivalent to
in a sense, do you think this particular court case might be this material?
Right now, we have public inquiries and investigations.
I don't see it resulting in a border move.
We started the fire. Firemen don't normally start the fire.
Do you want?
Well, I mean, what starts the Mau Mau revolt? The Mau Mau revolt starts unless you simply say that the position is.
I think they are due reparation, so I guess the present government should be held accountable. Otherwise, what can someone say that?
Go into all these kind of arguments, which are quite pointless to be honest.
Let's just go back to this. Imperialism is not my fault. Wrong then. Presumably it's not
you try and make a proposition out of that in support. So there's a horrific massacre because the violence, the Mau Mau perpetrators.
The construction of international law, which would say that once you just walk into another country and say it's taking its minds or its people, you take it rid of that.
Well, you have in a lot of places where the British go, there is no country. There is no sovereign state. These concepts always exist in the 17th
So he was using.
It is completely.
If we treat this like the proposition that
talk about
the massacre of Mau Mau prisoners was horrific, then I wonder if this is.
But it's a situation where. But it's a situation where the British Army and everybody
there was nothing else.
I think it's died.
No. Because this is
if you have an army
now of us understanding the ways in which people can behave when they're given guns.
Saying that you criticise fire because they have the responsibility to connect.
These two are connected, but I don't know that there's an argument going on there.
So isn't there something useful in being reminded of
No, I think
so. He's giving a reason against the horrors. He's saying, well, we're just policing the stuff they're doing there, right?
They don't have intelligence, they don't have orders, they don't have resources. Can behave in
they're waiting for a few more now.
That's human nature. That's humanity.
I think these judgments are very difficult to make.
An agreement.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Are you finishing off some NL argument there?
Yes. Finishing it off.
I don't know. See whether this fits in anywhere. We're struggling to deal with this because it doesn't seem to connect up very well.
Strange phenomenon. Is that not true? You deal with this. I'll finish this one. Just you do that one.
So,
except by
somehow in conflict with you're right. And the progression was from this to that.
To make that kind of judgment. I think this is where so much of the misunderstanding about empire comes from.
Hold on, I'm going to be saying with brutality.
Dr. Lloyd, thank you.
Right. So this is a conflict, isn't it?
Yeah, I think
the only thing there was the lesson learned that the only way you could sustain it is with brutality. And Merlin chose the brutality route. So in some sense, this is in conflict. Exactly a clear argument.
She didn't like the word terrorism.
Oh, sorry. That was clever. How do we do that?
or freedom struggle should anything to answer for, but the people who don't volunteer.
There is rules
disappear.
in the
Do you want all of it?
So that should.
Okay, got it. Just get the disappear.
So the MT guy talks about requirements.
That'll do.
Statute of limitation? I think so.
That's good, thank you.
Oh, sorry.
And this is Britain.
Yeah,
it's an enemy because they say they're criticising the firemen. Didn't really do anything wrong. They had to do something against the rebellion because it was not yet. Because that's about the firemen. 7-2. Yeah, I'm intrigued. You can get rid of it, but because we know what he's talking about, get rid of this. He's just intrigued by something, but we know. So, is it your contention? Question. Give that.
Is that central one closable?
No, not yet, because it's about. Well, almost. Wait. What we can do is this. Give the loose ones to them.
Sorry, I'll just grab one that wasn't loose.
It's just a metaphor here.
Wait a minute, get rid of it.
Where does this go?
No, don't draw the So they're talking about this. Criticizing the firemen. Britain should have done something because it's a responsibility to connect. So what they're saying here was Britain's responsibility to protect the African people in Kenya.
This is a conflict with that. What was the fire? It wasn't a fire.
That's the first thing. Didn't seem to
That's not supporting this.
British Empire and the Third Reich.
No, and that was clearly.
That's already spoken. Okay, so
I think that was going in.
That's quite a good argument.
This is a huge box, you think?
Do you just want to box that whole thing, or do you want to connect it in?
this goes somewhere. Each aspect is super.
Yeah, firefighting's here.
That justice should be done regardless of time. But again, I think the point made by Lawrence James was
trains ran on time.
It was very regrettable in the case of Kenya that the perpetrators of the Hola massacre and other atrocities were not prosecuted.
Did you manage to finish the fireman
thing? And so the point I was trying to get to with Esther Huzai, that
we started the fire.
Yeah.
So that's Britain did do anything.
Just as you're about to get it to collapse.
Yeah, no. So this is given that that's in conflict with that.
Reparation.
That's stressful.
Why should they seek civilian reparation?
With
that's
that.
the reason. But we're criticising the firemen, and he says, no, we're not, because we started the fire. We weren't the firemen, because normally firemen don't start.
There's no end to it. There are all kinds
This is fantastic. Contention was that the reason the British went around the world creating empire was they responded to a call for help. So this is, it's sarcastic, but it's
so what's the final response to? But you have an outbreak of revolt.
If they are to take their case against anybody,
which is in sense
the British state now is the closest they can get to it. They
it's in
can't
conflict
go back
with
and dig up Macmillan and
this. It wasn't. We weren't fire starting, and actually it's
and has
symmetrical.
continued to benefit and still benefits today from the extraction which it took from the British Empire.
So this is revenge for the benefit.
It would be okay under these circumstances for the same.
Extract. So this is in conflict with.
That's a question. Someone needs to answer this, and that's.
So hold on. Let me deal with this one first. So they weren't helping. Where's the help one?
The recognition in Germany.
Here, this is help. So this is in conflict with that.
This one's first.
Okay.
And then this one's
Yeah. Responding to the reason they were. Help, which is in conflict with. Oh, I don't know. So, well, actually, no. It's a support for this. Okay. Are we connected in? We are. No.
I thought they did it to extract maximum
It wasn't so bad after all. And that's precisely the point Esther stands for.
Yeah, go for it.
The reason we need these cases is because of the help
The difference is that this was an aberration. I wouldn't go as far as Lawrence James went to say this was an aberration and that the empire, nothing horrible was done under the empire. I think a lot of bad things were done under the empire. But basically, bad things done under the empire were an aberration. The empire was
talking about whether bad things were done under the empire.
So how expanded and
this
like
one. This entity, this new entity I added.
Okay, so we get rid of that and pull that out.
Responsible for what
I'll close this down.
in a way that Britain
You keep an eye on what's coming in.
collectively.
We've got a new entity saying Britain did not do anything wrong. That's the new kind of main conclusion. Mark?
Sorry.
Did you hear me or not?
No.
We've got a new meme saying Britain did not do anything wrong because they're talking about whether the empire was bad or good. You can go against it if you want.
There's no time for thing, that's fine.
What a crime is now, we're very much that distance.
Yeah, I think that is interesting. I mean, I think that is a good case and something that I do take very seriously. And you do look back to the fact that we were making terrorism at the time, but that rather plays against Matthew's point that this.
So what are they saying? They're saying, well, you should. They did do it because they should have have a higher expect better behaviour from them.
Right. That's your opinion, and I think that is a very, very partial view of the history.
People when they are
there's no country or
so
something.
he's saying Britain did not do anything wrong because and then he's shouldn't you be have a higher more authority because you are the guy running the country.
Why did we go?
And then 638, I think they do agree with this one. Yeah. Put it on.
I think that probably goes into British Empire did nothing wrong.
Wait a minute. Get rid of.
See, I'd say British Empire did nothing wrong.
What are you doing there, Chris?
Struggling to tie up. There's a bit of
okay, so the difference from Mau people killing is they're talking about if you're the guy running the country, you should be subject to a higher authority, moral authority than the other people. So
this is a support for that.
Yeah, and this is different as well. So yes, it's different because.
And how about this? Because this seems to fit in.
The government.
So that's a support for this as well, or that for this. If you ever revolt, the government should protect them. Why?
Because they have
higher moral authority, exactly.
And this is different.
So this is the same as that.
Was anyone remotely convinced by Lee Jasper's argument that this was how black Brits today? There are many problems for
this is the same as
black people in
not
Britain.
the same. It's different. Why? Because they have a higher moral authority. I mean, the British have a higher, and the Mau don't.
Okay.
Which would really be about disinterring the past.
This is new. So 9 and then 2.
Okay,
Eight, and then we go on.
Shall I get rid of this lot here? Shall I close this down?
There's quite a strong script that says really, generally speaking, it's a pretty balanced account, and actually there's nothing wrong with British
There's a moral force and laws. Twice from
this one. 9.
Lee Jasper. More trouble. Troubling propositions. One way justice should operate. Today you heard you couldn't be racist if you were black. I'm still trying to put his head around that one.
Can you get some more? Whoops, I'm sorry.
Going on there, and from Esther more nuanced and interesting balance of argument.
How far are you on this?
It's really an argument.
Yeah, it's really more restating, isn't it? Okay, we'll get around. But she seems to be listening towards the idea that colonialism as tonight was on trial, so you're putting an error on trial.
Wait. We're going to give this to the guys on the left because you're also done.
Information on how to download the Moral Maze from the Radio 4 website. Now, it's time for Forethought. Naif Amatala gives a personal view in front of an audience of the RSA in central London. The presenter is David Baddiel.
Much a distinction between
8 years ago, there weren't a lot of people whose ideas were as welcome in the Middle East as they were in George Bush's White House. But tonight's speaker, Dr. Naif...
That's not an argument. All right. Oopsie daisy, sorry, my fault. There you go. what I'm looking for. So justice should be served. Can you find that down there somewhere?
Justice. Well, this is about justice, or not?
They use too much force. You need to tie that in.
They use too much force. That's against Britain did not do anything wrong.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry. Beg pardon.
Well, they did the right thing, but they used too much force.
Yeah.
And this is tying up. Let's get rid of this for a moment. Shall I tie up the main?
You only got the CA there.
No.
You still only got the CA.
I think this here is the present document.
Let's tie up the main thingies.
Because they shouldn't.
Oops, what did I just do? Well, that worked actually.
Oh, there's more coming in.
Yeah, we're not quite there, I think.
No, that's fine. So we start with 1101. Wait a minute. 1105. 1108. Shall we do this and Chris takes over at kind of 20 something? 21. Go away. We had it. 24, 29. No, wait a minute. Before you take it away. Because we're doing it. Maybe we can give this to you. Wait. You do get reparations in Germany. Okay. Do you have something about reparations there on that side?
No.
No. 11.1. 11.5.
There was something about Frederick.
So this is before the 11.1, I think. 11.7. Yeah. I mean, you could use this. This one, that's not good enough. So.
Yeah. Is this? This looks like a topmost thing.
I suppose that would be the screen parts.
Okay, there's an argument from analogy floating around here somewhere, and this is a critique against it. Where is it?
Which argument from analogy? With the Nazi Germany?
Yeah. So where's the argument from analogy? Because this is an.
Does someone have an argument from analogy with Nazi Germany?
There's something about Third Reich here somewhere. Where was it?
So here, what we've got here, Chris, is that the first Third Witness didn't seem to draw much of a distinction between the British Empire and Third Reich.
Okay, so that if you can mark that as an argument from analogy and give me an enthymeme for. Oh, actually, no, we can just use nothing good happened under Nazism. No, we need to mark it explicitly. Nazism is different.
Well, Nazism is different from the British Empire.
Yeah. Oh, actually, no, forget it. Sorry, it's here.
Oh.
It was said explicitly. Beg your pardon.
Never mind.
So that connected to this one over here.
Yeah, if I chuck this at you and you just give it, put in a
minute.
conflict for it, yeah.
Which way?
Oops. Ooh, from this guy. Do you want to see if you can pass that way?
I put in an analogy.
Yeah.
And you guys should try to box this up because there's new stuff coming in. For you.
Ad hominem.
I think we should try and box this.
Things were done under Empire. Just drag everything in. That's part of this argument. Doesn't want to look pretty right now. We need to close some stuff down. Got a lot up. That's not Nope. Whoever got that is to delete.
So saying it wasn't so bad after all. It's against Britain didn't do. That's the reason for saying that Britain did not do anything wrong. Sorry. What's that narration?
This was an aberration. I'm thinking this is this. This is all part of this counter against the analogy.
Still not resolved.
What if this is all ad hominem against one of the witnesses? Yep, you can get rid of that. I wouldn't go as far as saying nothing terrible was done. He said, I think, yeah.
That's old? But it's
first she says this, and then she says this. It's 4-1, 4-4.
Yeah.
And then it's 50, I guess, and then it's 53.
I did something with this because there's a pile of stuff.
That argument from analogy needs that as a premise.
Okay. Right, do you still have the argument from analogy here? Or?
Yeah, I chucked it over there.
What is it?
Do you want to
So
add
the 14 nodes connected to the auxiliary.
This one. You want to open this up?
Yeah, may as well.
The analogy's in there.
Big?
14, so, and add that in, so be careful because it will go over it.
So let's rebalance this.
Super. Okay, so what you can do with that. And this is another counter against that, so it goes into there.
That's debate, and I think.
Where's the analogy?
Actually, this is why.
Okay, can you finish that off? I'll help you over here. How are we doing?
And it should be tried.
You're quite hung up. Oh, this is just ad hominem.
It's quite a lot.
Oh, oopsie daisy.
Probably get rid of this as well, actually.
Go.
Problems
in the education system. Problems. I think it goes in the way.
Enter main, enter means.
Something about the way things are taught.
Oh, it's over there. Has somebody got education still open? Okay.
Well, it was like a tiny little one.
Okay. We can just have it in the
national curriculum told Empire was bad.
Yeah, that's it. No, everything but the Empire was bad. Or wasn't bad. It was a... I've been taught that nothing other than
So where the other... Do you know where the current government is and limitations? Do you know where the current government one is? The current government should be held accountable. Yeah. Can you do have these attack each other?
This is just the start of a discussion.
I think you've got it, but it's under here.
Started reading that, and it's like this massive pile.
Yeah, no, I think it's just Michael Burke starting to solicit some opinions. So. Okay, you don't need to close stuff.
I think you put it down in quite a few.
It does this when you've got multiple ones on top of each other.
I think you put down accidentally tried putting them all.
Yeah.
Let's close a few of these.
Okay,
down.
that's it. Done.
Yeah.
Cool.